all are welcome to today's live analysis. You all are welcome. You all are welcome. You all are welcome. I think there's nobody I haven't said a shout out to. There's nobody, but as we go again, I'm going to say that. So let's go straight to the business of the day. So yes, the business of the day. The business of the day. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly run through what we've spoken about in the past few days and the past few weeks, and especially last week. That's last week, Tuesday and Thursday, and see how the market is presently, presently reacting. Like I've always said, one thing I've always said and repeated very, very loud in this podcast and in this live analysis is that yes, as much as we want to see and as much as we want to do, the market decides. Of course, yes, we only speculate by what we see. The market leads. The market tells us what he wants to do. Actually, sorry, I was able to say he or she. The market actually tells us what he wants to do, and yes, we follow the instructions of the market. We don't dictate for the market. So AUD/USD, let's quickly run through on that. I'm checking if there are no messages I'm missing on one way or the other. Okay, so AUD/USD, yes, this was AUD/USD, and by our analysis, we saw that AUD/USD has been selling and should still sell for what? For a numbers of week. And yes, we drew this counter trend line here. Yes, we had a trend line, we had a counter trend line. I'm going to draw it again so that we can see. Yeah, although the idea was that we break it successfully to the downside. We wanted to see a clear break of this to the downside. But to be very sincere, it is still yet to break it well to the downside. Because if you look in closely, I'm on the weekly now. I'm not actually giving out straight entries on the weekly. No, I'm just trying to run through and make you see things. Because yes, if you've come into this live analysis section, you would have noticed one thing again and again is common. And what is it is that we try to look at things from the bigger time frame so that we can be able to see things from the bigger view. We don't just want to be limited. We don't want to be limited in our view. We don't want to be limited in our view. So yes, this is how it is on the weekly. And if you see how it is on the weekly, you say, yes, this is the guiding trend line here. That is, it has been coming from this top, creating lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower high. And here it came down to this low and also ran up to this, this base that is the next resistance. And since then, it has been actually consolidating, broke to the upside and actually touched the trend line. That's the guiding trend line on the touch, and yes, that sold very well to the downside. And yes, we expect a proper break, like a full break. We expect a full break down to the downside rather. We expect a break to the downside, and to just stay clear off of this counter trend line. But yes, regardless, you know that AUD/USD is what is still selling. AUD is a sell. It's the sell bias is still intact. Okay. So what has AUD/USD been actually doing? So let me just give us insights to what it seems like AUD/USD is doing present. I'm going to delete this counter trend line so that we can see things better and clearer. Okay. So yes, there was a major range and there was a major consolidation before the mini consolidation we're having now. And where is it? That is from the top of this screen and to the base of this screen. So we have seen AUD/USD, and last time we spoke about it, like it was a month or so, and we saw how AUD/USD was just ranging from not more than 100 to 80 pips, or just ranging to the top, to the down, 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 came back again to the top, came back again to the down, came back again, until he actually had a touch on this counter, this guiding trend line, and actually sold drastically to the downside. Now, on selling, we saw that he came back into the range. He retested the top of the range and what sell down to the base of it, broke it to the downside. We tested the break, and also sell to the downside. And since then, again and again, we've begun to see a mini consolidation, a mini range, just like, this is the big sister and this is the younger sister, or the big brother and the younger brother. So yes, and why we are saying this is because for every impulse movement, there is a need for a rest, or there is a need for a what, a retracement. So if we don't have retracement for every major impulse movement, then definitely expect a consolidation or range. Okay, expect it. You need to know this, because the market is not just going to keep running. It's not going to keep going as far as quick as you want it all the time. So yes, there are times that the market, the impulse movement of the market is going to be quick, and right after the impulse movement, expect a retracement. And in retracement or in consolidation, the market is actually gathering what's liquidity together so that it can be fully ready for the what's next impulse movement. And then when it begins to be like, oh, the market has started and I'm not in the train, and so this is what is happening on AUD presently. It's in a range. And it just has to take patience with us. It has to take patience with us because there's a car. I'm sorry, please hold on. Sorry, please, I want to check out something. Okay. So yes, I'm going to draw this closer, and I'm going to, after drawing it closer, what I want to say here, we are going to leave AUD to the next. So what's AUD similarly doing presently? It's still in the range, okay, but yes, we expect that it's going to be clearer, because there's a counter trend line here that is after it actually broke. This was a daily candle and it looked big and it broke it to the downside. Yes, it actually gave us almost like a retest pattern here, but we see that it was aiming to the top of it. And don't forget that we have our fib level here. Sorry, we have our fib level, which is from the top to the what, the recent swing high to the recent swing low. We had our fib level here, and yes, it is still also, the price is still also trending around the area presently. And on daily, that's on Friday, you will notice that the candle close of the daily on Friday. The candle close of the daily on Friday, it's almost like a spinning top. It's actually it's really long week, which has actually rejected on the counter trend line. So I'm going to say today's candle is going to be decider. And when I say today's candle, I mean the daily candle. Now, if the daily candle, yes, the market can always do anything at any time. If the daily candle is going to, engulf it, probably just form a sell pattern down, it definitely means that it's going to be confirming the formation of the previous candles of the on the counter trend line, to say it's to the downside. But we are going to, although we are not going to be disappointed, but we are going to just have to stay on the sides. If AUD all it wants to do is to create this bullish, this full bullish candle to the upside, it means that all AUD wants to do is to actually come and top the summit or the zenith of this range, probably to come and touch the top of this range. And yes, from here, because I still believe that it's still actually in the range. Yes, AUD is still in the range. AUD. So if we are not seeing a very good, reversal from here to the downside, then we might just have to stay on the side. So that's that for AUD. Please, you just have to have patience with AUD. Yes, AUD. Okay, it's also looking like probably man wants to form a pattern here and maybe a double top or touch the high. But whichever it is, make sure that you have fully, don't be swayed away that, oh, what AUD is doing? Is it buying? Is buying today? You can imagine from here, and that's around Monday. From last week Monday, you can imagine that AUD has been capped, between from this place to this place, and that's definitely nothing more than, it's just like 50 pips. You can imagine. So for the whole of since last week Monday to where we are presently now, AUD has been capped between 50 pips range from last week Monday to now. That's over a week. So you can imagine that today you expect it to sell, it's doing this now, it's buying to the upside again, it's doing this now. So you just have to be patient. You have to be patient. Either, whatever we see on reaction, we are not going to say, yes, do it, no. Whatever we see on reaction, on how it reacts here, or even to the summit of this range, then we are going to know what next to do. So that's that. Because again, we meet here again on Thursday. So let's go directly to gold. But before we go to gold, let me quickly check. Let me check the chat box. Let me see the numbers of people with us. Okay, beautiful. Welcome, Kingwell FX. Welcome. I think I've given some shout outs to some people, but for the new people I can see that are with us, welcome to Emmy City FX. Oh, I think I'm familiar with this name. I think this is one of the winners of one of the winners. Oh, I really cannot place it there, but I'm sure I'm familiar with this name. Let me see TFX. Well, shout out to you. Shout out to Mr. Leo too. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Special shout out to everybody. You all here, you are the real champ. And yes, your presence is not taken for granted. Okay, yes, we continue with the charts. Okay. So now this is gold. And yes, gold, gold, gold. This is gold, okay? And if you had been with us for a while, you would have seen how we've been able to, analyze gold, and we've been able to take something out of gold for some while before you actually took us out on break even. Okay, now so gold all the way from this. Okay, let me just quickly show us from the. I'm not going to show up on monthly, but from the weekly, so that we can just sit in and we actually analyze how gold had an issue with breaking to the upside, even for the fact that gold had been creating higher highs and higher lows before this time. But since we have come into this region, it has been very hard for gold to create a new highs. And since then, we are seeing something it made like a major triple top on the weekly. So this is one, this is two, and this is what three. So gold had been those had been ranging like, yes, I'm going to call it ranging like between just a zigzag movement to the top, to the down, to the top, to the down, not creating higher highs or higher lows, no, but just formations of candles that's just looking like inner higher highs, inner higher lows, inner lower highs, inner lower, that kind of formation. So you can imagine, yes, today is creating higher highs, is creating lower low and lower high, and the next time is creating higher high and low, higher low, and so many of those formations of candles. And yes, currently what's good saying from our last discussion, we could see that yes, good had actually coming to what we can call the third leg of the triple top. And on the third leg of the triple top, we can actually see a hem pattern, and we saw it break to the downside. We tested it, again we tested it. Now you would notice that one thing happened on the retest of the first hem pattern that was created. Two retests actually happened, and I think that is what it wants to repeat itself. I'm going to show us what wants to repeat itself again now. So you notice on this presumed end pattern, we have to the top, which is, they don't forget, which is the third leg. It is the third leg of the triple top, and we had the first break. It broke to the downside. It broke to the downside. You would see it better on the daily. It broke to the downside. It came back for a retest. It engulfed it to the downside, and you would expect that on engulfing to the downside, gold should just keep selling. Just go like, what are you waiting for? Just keep selling, and you see that gold actually came back to engulf. Gold actually came back to retest that the neckline and that zone again and engulf it. So it was on the second time gold actually sold, and on selling of gold, it actually break the counter trend line, and on breaking the counter trend line, that's actually also come for a retest. Now let's go to the daily so that you can see things better. Okay. So here we are on the daily. This was the pattern. This was the double top, and it broke it to the downside. We tested it. Sorry, please. So it broke it to the downside. Yes, we tested. That's the first one, and the second one also we tested before we actually saw the word engulfing, this bearish engulfing candle, confirming it to the downside. And since then, gold sold for nothing less than 1970 to 1888. That gold sold for nothing less than 1,000 pips. Yes. Oh, okay. No, sorry. That's 900. If I'm not wrong, that's 650 to. Okay, from 1870. From 1970 to 1890, that's 80 pips. Okay, so that's like 800 pips. That's like 800. Okay, so that's like 800 pips. I'm good for nothing less than 800 pips. And yes, on getting to this base, we saw, and we, of course, we even called it out from our live analysis here, that we see a retest on this counter trend line, that we are not going to be interested on good. And we came back into the counter trend line, touched it, and we tested it. Okay. Oh, sorry, please. Please hold on. Please hold on. I have to quickly plug in my system, please. Okay. I'm so sorry, please. Sorry, please. I was running low on battery on my PC. I needed to plug it. I'm so sorry about that. So sorry. So sorry about that. Okay. I presume you are still here with me. Please, if you still can't see my screen and you can hear my voice well, and you can see my screen, please drop a comment in the chat box. I didn't know my PC was running down already. Okay. Okay. Please, I need you to just comment in the group if you still can see my screen and you can hear my voice. Welcome, Mr. OWG. Welcome, welcome. Please, if you still can see my screen and you can hear my voice, please just type something down in the chat box. Okay, thank you, Mr. Austin. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I need to plug in my system and still be sure that we are still good. Okay, thank you. So, as I was saying on good, and yes, so now what's looking like on good? Because of course I called, we have called good out here, and the next destination, the seemingly next destination for good, even by just basic technical analysis from this, engulfing from the formation of this reversal, touching this counter trend line and what engulfing into the downside. Thank you, Mr. Leo, for the message. Yes, with you. Thank you so much, sir. So yes, we expect that gold should come into this base, and that's 1880. So now, presently, what's gold doing? Some people are going to be straight away like, okay, is buying. Gold is still said. I'm still going to say that gold is still what? Gold is still said. Because if you even go by the basic formation of lower lows and lower highs, of course, from here, from the highest high we had here, from the recent high we had here, gold has been creating lower lows and lower highs. So yes, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a low, we have an equal high, we have a new low, and then we have a lower high. And yes, we are supposed to be having a equal low, if not even a lower low, at least to have an equal low before we see any formation. But now, presently, before we are seeing even the equal low, we are seeing something forming. We are seeing a low forming before even the previous low. So what seemingly could be happening on good? Now, two things could be happening on good. And let me quickly show us, because you really need to know this so that you're not just going to be taken away with what the market wants to do. Okay, you really need to, this education and information is really, really good for you. Plus, see, so please glue your eye and actually see what I want to show us. So now, on the daily, you see that from this recent swing high, okay, to the recent low here. Sorry, it has to be from here. Okay. So you see that most times, like we have it here. I showed us something earlier on gold. Like gold actually retested the same neckline and the same zone twice before you sold to the downside. So yes, we can want to have a repeat of that one. We can want to have a repeat of that. And the second reason is also because we are still good at actually come back into the 50 to the 61 fib area. So we might be expecting a pattern. We might be expecting a pattern, something like an M pattern in between this fib area before I actually slow down again to the downside. So what do you do now? What do you do now? One of the things to do is to be informed about, yes, this is what gold wants to do on its so that you're not just taking away, you're not saying, oh, gold is buying already, and gold gets to this next level and gold starts saying, I'm like, oh, gold was just buying now, how come gold is selling again? You don't want to be telling yourself all those stories. So it's better you stay informed. And the way to stay informed, many thanks to Bureau Funding. A way to stay informed is to a way to stay into the market and be very, very informed. Education and information is key. I'm telling you, education and information is key. When you are not informed about something, definitely, then you are definitely going to be open to ignorance. And when the market takes you in ignorance, definitely you are left behind and you don't even know what's going on. So yes, I've given us two reasons. Number one is because we have seen a repeated formation of such. We saw a repeated formation of such before what is actually formed presently. And the second reason is because from the recent swing high to the recent swing low, we can see that that's on the daily. I'm talking about daily presently. We have seen that gold has on also the touch of the counter trend line. You can see that gold had actually come back into the fib area. So we expect that probably is going to give us a formation like a double top here, and also break to the downside and keep selling to the downside. So that's that. And let me show us something again on the 4 hours. So let me take us to the 4 hours and show us something again. So on the 4 hours, let's also check from the recent swing high to the recent swing low on the 4 hours. The recent swing high to the recent swing low on the 4 hours. Okay. Don't forget that on the daily, no, sorry, please. It has to be here. It has to be here. Yes, it has to be like this. Okay. And why is it like this? Is because this is the low the original low of the impulse movement. Now, the whole idea of what we had here is a profit. This was a profit taking area. It was the O minus 0.27 fib extension. You know how to take profit on fib levels now. So the first place you always take your profit on fib levels is to take your level away from the 100% retracement, which was here. And after it broke this base to the downside, and you see that the reaction happened perfectly on the way. That's on the 0.27 fib extension. And yes, so what could be happening presently on the 4 hours with what we have seen too? And yes, you notice that from what we can see, gold is also still within the Fibonacci area, even on the 4 hours. So you would imagine that gold is stuck between two Fibonacci, that is on the daily and on the 4 hours. So, and if you also notice on the 4 hours, you also notice now, I think, okay, don't let me delete this. Let me draw this out. Oh, the time is running so fast. Why? The time was so fast. Oh God. Okay. So yes, I think I have to draw this so that we can just stick with these, and I think this has to stay till Friday. I would have also drawn the daily, but I think that might not be so much necessary, so that we don't have so many things, so many things that is making the whole candles, nebulous, and we are not having it so clear. So you would notice another reason why we still have to be stuck and still be very sure that the bias on gold is still sell, and we are not taking away because gold is forming new highs, and like gold you have to buy, you are buying, and also it's because it's also looking like gold is coming to actually have a retest around this area. It's looking like that. So that's the neckline. That's the neckline of the little formation that was formed. So the whole thing is still encapsulated around that. Gold presently, look out for good for where it is. On the 15 minutes, look at formation. Are you going to see a hem pattern? Are you going to see engulf to the downside? Are you going to just look out for good? But until you look at it, you are very sure. We have to be very sure that yes, gold has to, it has to react. And I'm very sure gold is going to react in this arena. Gold has to react. So on the reaction of gold, we are not taking away what gold has done. We know that gold has actually rallied from all the way to the downside to the 100% retracement and to the 0.27 fib extension. And it was just 10, it was just few pips away from our overall target before it took us out on break even. So now we have to see it, give us a proper entry that yes, I know I have to come here and retest and do all the whole thing before going to the downside. And because I have done this before, I have to do it again, and I just have to come and pay homage to the fib level. And of course, we have known this and we are informed about it. And as we are informed, then we are going to have patience with what good. So that's that for good. I have something to dissect and something very beautiful to show us on US 30. Why am I saying US 30? US 30 because we've actually called this trade out for a number of times, and yes, what we are waiting for exactly as properly happened now. We have called this trade out for some time, and what we are waiting for has properly happened. So yes, I'm going to run on this quick. We can see on the weekly that US 30 have been buying, and yes, we said it was buying from zone to zone. So we saw it buy from zone to, I drew on my support and resistance. I do just draw them then out as line. So it has to be, a place of zone, different reactions, either the wick or the body of the candle reacting. So it's from zone to zone. So you see from zone to zone buying, from zone to zone buying, from zone to zone buying, from zone to zone selling, to the next zone. Actually, came shy of the next zone here, went back into the next zone, broke this next zone, and came down here. And since then, we've been having US 30. It's so clear that the next profit target, as it has actually bought again into the zone, came back into the zone, came and actually bought again into the zone. It broke to the upside, after consolidating around this, we can call it a zone, and we can also call it the resistance area. And after breaking it to the upside, it came up again for a retest. So on this retest, we have anticipated and waited, for a number of days, and we can say that the next movement, we can say by what the market is dictating and actually telling us that the next movement for this US 30 is going to be the highest, the top here. Yes, it has to come and touch this top. And that is nothing less than 2,000 pips away, from where the market is presently. So yes, what were we waiting for? Because I said that we were waiting for something. So the question is, what were we waiting for? Now, what we were waiting for and what we've called out was what? Yes, we said on the what guiding trend line, because this is the trend line. As you can see, the higher highs, higher lows, and all. So we had the first one, the impulse movement, the second touch, the third, or we can call this the first, the second, or the third. So whatsoever. So on, we are waiting for gold. I saw it. I'm so used to gold. We were waiting for US 30. On creating this, we wanted it to come, and we saw a pattern. There was an inner pattern that was created here. So on the creation of the inner pattern, we knew that US 30 just wanted to push it down to this base. And yes, on pushing it down to this base, it came to touch this trend line. It came to touch this trend line. And we said that if we don't see it, stay clear of and break to the upside, this counter trend line, that we will not be interested in buying. So we needed it to be, and we have our counter trend line drawn here. Sorry, it's drawn here already. We have it drawn here. So we say we wanted it to break to this upside. Stay clear of it. We want to see it, stay clear of it. And at the first trial of it, at the first movement of it, it didn't break it. So it actually came and came back into the fib area. This is the 50 to the 61 fib area. That is the green box here. This green box here. And we said on the last time we discussed and spoke about US 30, we said yes, we are expecting two things. Is either we expect a proper base into this green candle, or you break to the upside and we want to see a retest on the counter trend line. So presently on US 30, what is happening? So now we have seen a clear break. You can see the numbers of candles that broke to the upside. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is candle, they are not joke to you, my sister and my brother. They are not joke to you. Don't even take them for a joke, okay? Don't even take them. So what's presently happening on US 30 now? So yes, it has broken to the it has broken to the upside, and it came back swiftly. This is one of the most beautiful things with you can imagine that you want to take a trade and you see a clear break and you see a clear retest. It's so beautiful. And now we saw how swiftly it broke to the upside and how it came back in for a retest. And on the retest, now what we have seen, what we are waiting for, and that is this engulfing candle, that is this green candle here, that engulf it to the upside. And as long as every other formation of newer candles are not actually nullifying the creation of this engulfing candle to the upside, then yes, we can say that US30 is actually presently good for a buy. But before you buy, listen to this. You might have to consider this contingency. What's the contingency one? Contingency one is that US30 might want to come into this green box, that is the 50 and the 61 fib level area. It might want to come into this level area to form a proper base. That is just a contingency plan. But by what it has happened here already, we can be sure that US30 is good for a buy. Now let me show us something on 15 minutes that we can even use as a guide to actually get into the market. So now I'm going to show us the strategy on the 15 minutes, and just look out for it. And expect major movement from US30. Like anything in the next 30 minutes or 1 hour. US30 most moves, it gives its own moves around 2 p.m. UK time and 3 p.m. UK time. That's when US30 begins to give its own proper move. So you can imagine all these moves are just like appetizer for US30, and going to start to give its own proper move as soon as possible. Though this is 1:33 p.m. We are rounding off as soon as I talk about this 15 minutes now. So now, what do you expect? Now, if you're looking closely on this 15 minutes, on this 15-minute formation of candle, it looks like, yes, from this place, we have what we can call we still can call it a W pattern. So what do you expect after this creation of this W pattern? I said US30 is good for a buy, but I'm just telling us how we can get into the market. Of course, if you want to get into the market, be very sure. I've told us that our stop loss has to stay clear of this fib, because you might want to come into this fib to form a proper base. But let's say that we want to follow this 15-minute strategy that I want to share with us, and what is presumably should happen. It means on this creation of this W pattern, and like I said, for every break, we actually anticipate a retest. And you see that this W pattern, as it was created, that is one to the down, to the top, to the down, it broke to the upside. Now, expect a retest. Yes, I'm going to say that you should expect a retest. This is the neckline of this W pattern. This is the neckline of W pattern. I'm going to say expect a retest, Expect it might come in deep, it might stay shy of this. Expect a retest, and I think that is what it's doing presently. Like it's actually, it's doing press up from the 2 p.m. for the major movement. So expect a retest into this area, which we are seeing presently, and it might even come deeper than this. And on seeing the engulfing candle, which is of course on the 15 minute, you see it engulf to the upside, then I think you can get into US 30 for as long as possible. And you, of course, where the next profit target should be. That is to the highest points here. That is to the next 100% retracement. That is that for USD. And I think, oh God, we have spent so much of our time today. But regardless, I feel like it's all worth it, and it's just to help us, give valuable insight into the market. So that's that for today, and I think we can round it up here. So let me get back into the chat box. Okay, thank you so much. So let me get back into the chat box and see the numbers of people with us. Okay. So yes, if you got value and you know that you were able to see one or two things, can get one or two things, you can of course drop your comments in the chat box. And again, I say special shout out to King Noel FX, Ms. Okpayemi, Mr. Noah, Mr. Austin, Mr. Luke, Mr. Leo, and what name is this? Okay, this is all I have. So a special shout out to every one of you. Your presence is so much cherished and treasured, and many and special shout out to what Brewers Fund is for this opportunity. I say this again and again of the day that this is not common with many pro firms. So of course, with such of this, with Brewers funding, it means they have the traders at mind and they have a good heart for the trader. And of course, there's nothing we can do than to stand such pro firms, and I'll give a many special shout out to them. So special shout out to everybody. You all are important. You all are the champion. Go to the market with all much of patience, discipline, and what crush it and just take the best. Can you light up EU a bit, Mr. Leo? Oh, the time has run too fast, but let me do that for you, sir. We've gone too fast on the time. But EU, I'm going to say EU. EU was supposed to be spoken about, but EU was supposed to be spoken about, but I think as it is presently, the reason why I'm not so much interested in EU is because it's not having so much potential. Yes, it's selling to the downside presently. As you can see, it's still cleared up this trend line. It came to the downside, break this mini support, and we saw a retest, and it sold again. And now it's looking like we are seeing a retracement rather, a retracement. And you will see that I highlighted the fib level here. That's the 50 to the 61. So if you react to it, you can also go just check it out. That is from this recent swing guys to this recent swing low. I grabbed my Fibonacci, and this is the area of the 50 to the 61. And if you react to it and engulf it in downside, I think you might just rock it down to this 100% retracement. But the overall target, I might not be able to speak with that presently because I'm not seeing so much of potentials with Euro USD. This pattern is not looking too solid. The EU was actually looking like it wanted to create, it was looking like, from this base, you see the creation to the top and giving us a higher high, higher low, higher high. And we are not even sure what it's doing presently. Do you want to form a base here, or you want to come back into this base here? So that's why I'm staying aside on EU. But I think with that lead to enlightenment, I think I've been able to answer your questions, sir. Okay. So if you are satisfied with that, okay. Thank you so much. So I give it up and say thank you again once again to everybody. And don't forget, same time, same place on Thursday. Make sure you invite somebody and don't even come in late. And just like it was inscribed and highlighted on the e-flyer, it said you don't want to miss it because definitely there are so many things you have to grab. And of course, it's beautiful that yes, we have a community of traders together, and you can be able to see even much more better into the market. So thank you, everybody. Meet you same time, same place. Many special shout out to admins who help us administered and also help us added people. Thank you so much for always being there, Mr. Austin and Mr. Luke. Thank you so much. And even to everybody, you all are the real champions. And thank you. Meet you same time, same place on Thursday. Be good and have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you.